Welcome back once again to howtocookgreatfood.com. If you haven't already, please click that button and subscribe to our channel. On the menu today, going to be concentrating a little bit on some children's food. To be more precise, my children's food. I've got a 2 and a 4-year-old, and quite frankly, it's very difficult. It's a challenge, a struggle all the time to get them to eat something that I think is healthy. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do some spaghetti, which I always find is a perfect pasta for them, because you have loads of fun eating it. It's like the #1 pasta for me. It really works with them. With some tomato sauce. Now, what I am doing, you see, in this tomato sauce is, today we're using carrots. You can use different vegetables as well, some spinach, some kale, some mushrooms, some zucchini, whatever. Chop it really, really small. Like I'm using a food processor to get it in there. I mean, I've got onions in there and garlic in there, and I'll tell you right now, if my children were right here, they would tell you, no, thank you, Daddy. They do not like it at all. But I get it in there, cook it down really nicely, and they actually go for it. So it takes a little time. I mean, if you compare this to those kind of jars of kind of ragu, kind of tomato pasta sauces, I mean, don't go near them, quite frankly, or especially for your kids. There's quite a lot of sugar in most of them, or corn syrups and stuff like that. But anyway, this kind of works at the moment for my children. Probably won't work next week. They'll hate this next week. Play around a little bit and get it at, to your kids' taste. Anyway, let's go and do it. Enough chatting. Okay, let's just run through a few basic ingredients. So what I've got there is a tin or a can of plum tomatoes. Here I've got some fresh tomatoes. Today I'm going to be using some carrots. Cut them nice and small, but we're actually going to cut them much smaller than that as well. Here I've got some onion. I'm using a red onion, use white onion, entirely up to you. Here I've got a touch of garlic that my kids will eat. I can actually manage to get that in the mix. Bit of olive oil, which is, a little bit healthy. It's the healthiest oil I can think of, which I'm quite happy for my kids to eat that. Here I've got a bit of ketchup, tomato ketchup. That's kind of me giving in a little bit, but giving it a little bit of sweetness so that they're going to eat this. And optional if you want, a nice bit of parmesan there, you can kind of grate some on at the end or put it into the mix. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get my food processor, and we're going to chop the garlic, the carrots and the onions together as fine as we can. After that, we're going to mix the fresh tomatoes with the tin tomatoes and do the same. Basically what we're trying to do here is disguise any goodness. Like I say, I'm using carrots today, but you could use zucchini, you could use kale, mushrooms, anything, spinach. Put it in there to try and get these guys some goodness. This is my big challenge that I deal with every day at the moment. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get these ground up a little bit finer so that we can disguise them in our sauce. Let's do that. So as you can see, I've got in there that little bit of garlic. I mean, maybe your kids won't go for it. Mine are just about going for it now. And that carrot and the onion. Into my food processor that went, really chopped it nice and small. We want to kind of cook that, and it disappears in our tomato sauce, so they don't know it's there, but they're getting goodness. So what I've done is in there is the tin or the can of tomatoes mixed with a few fresh tomatoes. Again, maybe your kids won't go for the fresh tomatoes, they might just go for the can. We've really got to play around with this. Simply, we're going to get over to the cooker and start cooking this. So I've got a decent sized pot here. I've got the heat on nice and low, and I've put that little bit of olive oil in. And we're going to get in our onions, the carrots, and that tiny little bit of garlic. Now what's important now is that we're not going to really fry this hard. We just want to kind of cook it, saute it, and kind of, we don't want it to burn or get crispy in any way. We kind of want it to kind of cook down. And like I said, you can do this. I've done this before with spinach and with zucchini and mushrooms. I mean, try. Like I say, all children are very different. And I don't know if your children are like mine, but my kids might love this today, and it'll be a great success. And tomorrow they just won't go near it. I have to start all over again. So on a nice low heat, let's cook this for about 5 or 6 minutes. You could, if you want, put a lid on it, kind of let it steam out a little bit. So I'll be back then. Keep stirring it, because like I said, we don't want to fry this really. We just want to kind of gently break it down. As you can see here, these are kind of starting to sweat down and cook nicely. For about 5 minutes I cook these for on a really low heat. And at this point I'm now going to add in our blend of fresh tomatoes and canned tomatoes. I'm also going to add in this little bit of ketchup, and that will kind of get rid of that kind of tart or sour taste from the fresh and tinned tomatoes. You could add some seasoning. I'm going to kind of stay away from salt for sure. You know, there's plenty of there's loads of salt and sugar in ketchup basically. So I'm staying away from that and trying to keep it as healthy as I can for them. And my kids are kind of not that ready for kind of black pepper or anything like that. So if yours are, then add what you like into it. So again, let's now get a lid onto that and let's cook that for about another 10 minutes. Really low heat, give it a stir every now and then. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off now. Let's take a look in there. Put some steam out. And that's looking great to me. But it's not me that matters, is it? It's getting my two little ones to eat this. Now they've eaten this before, so I'm pretty confident. If you wanted, you could add some salt. I mean, I'm not saying don't put salt in, don't give your kids salt, but you know, we know it's not over healthy. What we're trying to do is get some goodness into them. The more ketchup you add, pretty much the more likely kids are going to eat it. You're going to need to adjust it and do what you can. Like I say, you could now, I've got some parmesan there, you could grate a bit of parmesan in there, or some cheddar cheese perhaps, into it and mix it. Or put it on top. That's what I do. I put a little bit on top for them. So we're going to just cook a bit of pasta now. So I always find that spaghetti's the best. Kids just love spaghetti basically. This is a spaghettini, which is a number 3, which is a really thin one. They just like it. It's a bit more fun, you know. We enjoy sort of slurping it and sucking it and getting basically making a mess really. Now what I like to do is also, I've got a bit of whole spaghetti there, nice brown whole wheat spaghetti. So I like to put a little bit of that in the mix with it as well. Again, in an attempt for them to eat something that's not super processed. Let's go and do that. Quite frankly, there's no need to, you can cook them at the same time. This would take a bit longer than the white one would, but we're not talking about kind of getting pasta al dente or anything here. My kids just like it boiled to death, basically. So you can mix them, no problem. Let's go and do that. Okay, so I've got a large pan of water boiling away there, as you can see. If you want, you could add salt now. Again, I'm not going to today. So we're just going to drop in a little bit of that brown whole wheat spaghetti, followed by a more healthy portion of the white. There she comes. So I'm going to cook that. It's probably going to take 8 or 9 minutes. Like I say, I'm not trying to get a al dente or kind of to bite pasta. My kids like it kind of a bit overcooked. I'm going to drain that off. Then we'll get the sauce together with the pasta. Okay, so my pasta's now ready. As you can see, hopefully you can see the mix of the white and the brown pasta, which I'm going to increase. I'll increase the brown pasta to eventually, I hope, they'll only be eating brown pasta one day. So, yeah, again, you've got to make that decision yourself and then see how they respond to it. But so far I'm doing okay with this bit of brown pasta. They actually find it a little bit of fun. You can as well get some pasta, green pasta, which is coloured with spinach, which is great. You can try that, but be careful because some of them are not coloured with spinach. They're coloured with dye, food colouring, which is not so great. Let me drain that off. Let's get over to the next step. Mix a bit together, It's going to be super, I think. Okay, here we go. I'm done. Got a little portion there and just sort of mixed in a little bit, not too much. Hopefully my kids are going to eat that. And by the way, I'm also going to eat that. It's going to be fine for me. I might add a little bit of, you know, chili sauce or something to it, you know, give it a bit of kick. But quite important, I find as well, eat the same food as your kids. Like, my kids always want to eat what I'm eating. You know, they're kind of interested in, you know, what mum and dad are eating. And just keeping it fun, really. Keep the food fun. We're going to have a great laugh eating that. And like I say, you can put in, we've used carrots today, but try some spinach, try some other vegetables, zucchini, whatever you like. I hope that helps. And yeah, good luck with it all. You can, if you want, also get a bit of cheese. I've got some parmesan cheese there. Put a bit on there as well to see how they like it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you soon. Good luck. Lots of love.